Welcome to the Boxing Source Podcast, where we go over the latest news in boxing and react to all of the fights that happened in the past week. Now, let's go to our host, J.R. Bell. What's up? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the April 20th, 2025 episode of the Boxing Source Podcast. And I am happy to have this guest on with us as we are days away from the event at the Bowie State University. This man is not only the lead promoter of the event, but he is the main event on the card as he fights Wendry Martinez for the NABA welterweight title. He is originally from Hyattsville, but resides in Bowie, Maryland, and has 17 wins with just 2 defeats, and 10 of those wins are by knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Greg Sharpshooter Outlaw. What's happening, man?
What's good, brother? I'm originally from Glen Allen, Maryland, but same thing.
Yeah. You know, it's all around the same area, but it's just a little bit of a technicalities and all that. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Yeah. Great to have you on once again as you're preparing for this fight card here under Sharpshooter Promotions. Alongside Ponytail Promotions as you go for the NABA title on Saturday night. How are things going leading into Saturday?
Man, it's going good, man. I had an amazing camp. I got an amazing team. We see Outlaw Nation. We represented. You know, we held things down. You know, you already know how my team is. You know, so I'm feeling good, man. Feeling good.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, of course, this is an event that's called Beyond the Ropes 2. This is part 2. Of course, there is your second event you know, under this promotional card here with, you know, Sharpshooter Promotions there. So, you know, with that being said, you had the first one there on October 12, 2024, you know, where you had the win over William Encarnacion. Now, compare the preparation for that first, you know, card there under Sharpshooter Promotions to this one so far.
The preparation is the same. I mean, each camp I try to work harder, a little harder. But I think the only difference really is that the last fight, it was kind of a little more stressed because it was my first card and I had a little behind the scenes stuff going on. But this time it was smooth sailing. So I ain't got to worry about, you know, no pressures or no what's going to go wrong. My team did the work. I got God behind me and I'm just going to make it do what it do come Saturday, April 26th.
Yeah, for sure. So I got this thing here, like I said, Beyond the Ropes Part 2 there at Bowie State University. First bout at 6 p.m. The doors open at 5 p.m. there. So, you know, like I said, you know, shout out to the sponsors, of course, involved with it and everything like that. You got there Ferrari and Associates, Harper Consulted. You got Leah's Rainbow LLC, TVG Strategies, Harper Homes. That's going to be involved there, you know, being part of this particular card coming up April 26th, you know.
Hey, I like that. Hey, shout the sponsors out. I like that.
You got to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like me, I had like one, brief experience as a commentator, one time. And, the thing is, what I got to do is, especially with the local shows, you got to be able to shout out the sponsors that are involved in making the event possible. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, for sure. I like that. You know what you know, brother. You know what you know.
Yeah, exactly. Now, you got the card coming up as, we have scheduled 7 additional fights on this particular card, including multiple fighters there from the area, including Stephon Hops, Rashad Kilpatrick there, KP Cold Blue, Tyrell Boyd, and Jakeem Hutchinson that's on this card there. So talk more about the card coming up here for April 26th.
Oh, man, like you said, I got a lot of local talent on here. I probably have a little more of the Baltimore side on this time, but like you said, a lot of local talent, top guys coming out of the gym. Coming out of the area. I'm trying to create that. I'm creating that platform so local fights can grow. I support everybody. All one love. You know what I mean? Like you said, Jay on the card, Tyrell, Stephon, Kilpatrick, all these people who I've been knowing for a long time in the boxing world. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. It's gonna be a good show. Boys get to show off their talent.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think I got like something here with the fight card or whatnot here real quick, just hitting the box rec and all that. So it has it all there. You get, like I said, of course, with the main event there, of course, Sharpshooter there going against Wendry Martinez, Tyrell Boyd against Ashton Sykes, Stephon Hops going up against Kevin Johnson. You're going to have Christian Hamilton there against Caprice Johnson. Isaiah Branch is on this card. Like I said, KP Cold Blue, Rashard Kilpatrick on it. Jakeem Hudson here, of course, is within the D.C. Maryland area as well. And, like I said, the number of, fights that are going to be on this card coming up April 26th at the Bowie State University.
I like the way you say the Bowie State. I like that.
Yeah. You gotta say it, as the HBCU, like I said, you gotta say the Bowie State University. You feel me?
Yeah.
That's how you gotta do it. Shout out to, of course, who I'll be talking about here in a little bit. Like I said, the Suge Knight of this thing, and in the building, you know what I mean? Shout out to Gibson Performance Training here in the building as well. Right now, as we are talking with, of course, Sharpshooter Outlaw. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Now you got this, of course, this big card coming up. This is like part 2, as I said, Beyond the Ropes. Now, what would you say is one of the biggest challenges in making sure that this event goes through without too many hitches or setbacks or whatnot?
You just learn from the first one. You know what I mean? The devil gonna always throw some type of wrench in there, but I think my team is even more equipped than the first time, of course, because your biggest teacher is experience. You know what I mean? So we can't say we're gonna have a perfect night. Ain't no such thing as perfect, but we strive for perfection, and that's what we're gonna do. Something close to it. You know what I mean? Everybody said the first one was a hell of an event, and I've been posting it and I'm posting it, and I'm saying it's gonna be even better than last time. You hear me? So it's gonna be a heck of an event, man. And the new coming up. But go ahead. I ain't gonna jump to it here and let you run this interview going on.
Word. I mean, the thing is sometimes there, when you're on the promoter side, you have to worry about, like I said, with the venue, booking the venue, getting the date right, making sure, all the insurance things is on point, vendor stuff is on point, tickets and, handling fighters and stuff like that. There's some things that, you have that you handle, but you also have a team, there that's along there with you that, also assists along the way. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much like a big thing, is to have a good team and to help you, get these things set up and get things done so that, the event comes off, without a hitch and everything like that.
I can't lie. My team, I really can't take no credit, really. My team is the reason why the event is ran so well. Everybody played their role. You got everybody that's had their own specific role, and you got Tanya, head of operations, she run the thing. You got Big C, she does all the tickets and the reaching out to everybody. My best friend Jerry, she's the accountant. You got Jay, who posting that he on social media every day. You got Kelsey, in charge of the fighters and all that. And rest in peace to my good cousin Carlene. She was part of that, a big part of the tickets and the overall operation. So they make my job easy. I just train. And I see the big purchases on my car and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? The big money purchases. But besides that, I don't do nothing. I'm just in the gym, focused, locked in.
Gotcha.
And I gotta get them all the credit, not me. They the ones putting the work in.
Gotcha. We talk about that too, and I was going to bring up the thing there in reference to this particular event, as it's a lot behind it, as you're dedicating this event to Carlene, who was a key part of Outlaw Nation, that passed away last month. We talked about it there when I saw you down in Florida, also, because that was just days away after she transitioned. I know how much she supported you in your journey, but tell us what she meant to you.
Man, she meant a lot to me, you know what I mean, to say the least. She was a hell of a person, heart of gold, pure inside and out. And my mom just sent me a picture of her. Me and her son, we were maybe 4 years old, 3 years old together, and it's been that long, we've been intertwined. So to lose her like that, just you never know why. You can only, and of course you grieve and you hurt. I'm hurting. But I use that as motivation, and my opponent, shout out to him. I pray for him outside the ring, of course, and that he leave with good health. But it's gonna get a little rough for him Saturday night. I hashtag and releasing some pain. You know what I mean? So it's right. Crazy.
Yeah, exactly. One of the main hashtags here for the event is hashtag for Carlene too. So that's the thing about it is having it. Having this event, in her memory and things like that. So definitely looking forward to there on Saturday night. Now, the last time we saw you in the ring, was at 2300 Arena in Philadelphia as you stopped Jenna Burgos after one round, man. I mean, that was a short work, man. I mean, you was in there, took care of business and basically rolled out, man. So how was that, man?
It was good. I started training Coach Kevin Cunningham and Charles Mooney and them on Palm Beach Boxing, and that was my first time, to show my talent. I expected maybe to box a little more, but I know that when I'm on my A game and I punch hard enough to, if you get caught with the right punch, or any punch of mine, really, it could be a early night. So he was game. He came in trying to, press me out, and he had a game plan. The everybody got a game plan until you get punched in the mouth. You know what I mean? But much he came in the locker room after to dap me up. We talked, and so I prayed for him and wished him the best. You know what I'm saying? It was just my night.
Yeah, it was definitely your night there at the 2300 Arena there. Like I said, you take care of business right there. Like what you had. Hold on, let me see if I got this thing here too, man. So yeah, you was really there, doing the thing. So it was definitely a great performance there on that night at 2300 Arena there. And like I was saying, as far as this event coming up, it's also like been part of your thing here with the movement is that you bring a lot of people out there to see you fight. You feel me? So that's the thing about it. Like, I've been to a lot of your fights here, over the course of the past years and stuff like that. Even way back in what was it? I think 2018 or something like that when they had the event there at Bowie State University. And I was trying to find those pictures and stuff like that from that day, but I couldn't necessarily find them here at this particular point. There, shout out to Gibson performance there. Yeah, Fletcher, you feel me?
Yeah. Hey, that's my strength coach right there. Gibson Performance training the best. You hear me? So yeah. Shout out. That's him. Shout out to my boy.
Yeah, man. Of course, my guy Light Skin Lou. Of course, you chopped it up with him earlier. Like he said, man, Carlene will be greatly missed there. Of course,
very good. Light Skin Lou, my man. For sure.
Yeah, shout out to Nikki in the building, and also shout out to Tanya there. I hope we talk about Tanya here a little bit as well. So yeah, I mean, like I said, you got a great team, around you here that's helping you while you're preparing, for this upcoming bout on April 26th, Bowie State University. Like I said, tickets be available there. I think that's supposed to be teamoutlaw4life.com.
Number 4. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
The number 4, right? So you'll be able to get your tickets through there. And if you're outside the area, you could watch it at bxngtv.com. It should be bxngtv.com is where you'll be able to catch the event as well. You know what I mean? So definitely multiple ways you'll be able to watch Greg Outlaw fight here coming up. You know what I mean?
Best way is live, but we saying the same thing. As long as you tune in. Yeah,
for sure. Now you're training there out by Sugar Ray Leonard's gym out over in that Palmer Park area, close to Northwest Stadium, FedEx Field. I don't know what they call that.
Right by 5. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But what's the regimen out there? Getting ready for your fights usually.
Oh, so I'm there 24/7. I'm training there at 365 mainly, and then now after my last fight, I started coming out to Florida to West Palm to train with Coach Kevin. But my head trainer William Pinckney's been in my corner since I started. He started me boxing. I was 5 years old. You know what I mean? So Sugar Ray Leonard is home for me. I've literally been there since I was 5 when it was no equipment. It was looking rough. Now, it's top of the line and all that, but that's home. That's always gonna be home for me. And Coach Will, along with Kevin Cunningham and Coach Mooney, is we're gonna be cooking up some. We're cooking with fish grease. It was TB say cooking.
Word for sure. Shout out to Barely Verified in the live chat here. Team Outlaw in the building. Like you said, for Carlene, of course, let's go. And of course, like you said, April 26th in the building. For sure. I mean, so you're out there doing your thing, over at that particular gym and stuff like that. But y'all will also want to get back to this thing here with Outlaw Nation, right? And like I was mentioned before, we talk about the leader of the nation. Some of the area, know who I'm referring to. I talked about it here earlier. That's your mother, of course. Like I said, the Suge Knight of this thing. Been working hard, pretty much nonstop in building the movement there. Now, go further into what she's done for Team Outlaw.
So head operations is actually Tanya. But Team Outlaw, my mom, she built. Outlaw Nation is built on community love and support. And from my pro debut, I had a lot of support and love, and it's big thanks to my mom. So she's actually one of the foundations of Outlaw Nation without even knowing. You know what I mean? We support each other, we love each other, and that's what we built on. So her and Tanya came together, and everybody just all the pieces of the puzzle fit, and then we just mesh. You know what I mean? We just put this thing together, and it's only gonna get better and better each time. You hear me? Better and better, on to the next, on to the next. Keep growing, keep elevating. That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, for sure. You talked about Tanya Baskin there, of course, of the Baskin Group. You know what I mean? We got shouts there from Nikki said, yeah, for sure. And of course, mom's there. Give a shout out too. So, like I said, she's been a big part of building this thing here for the promotional group and as far as like pushing yourself and making yourself be out there, because like you said out there, being part of or having your own promotional company is a big thing or a big step, as far as like moving up there as far as like your overall visibility there to the rest of the world, I would say. You know what I'm saying? So like, what is it to like kind of like have that as being part of your team now?
It's an amazing thing, like you said, is we want to get the brand out to the rest of the world, the brand, my talent, and things like that. So everything is an asset. It's all positive. This thing, like I said, it's been a well-oiled train, and we going our way to the top. You know what I mean? And it's a beautiful thing that I have this team that I have to help me with knowledge and the drive. The drive that I have in the ring is a drive that they have outside the ring to make us a superstar and make this a great event and so on and so on. You know what I mean? So like Outlaw Nation, man, we trying to go beyond the ropes, hence the name, and do big things, man. In and out the ring. You know what I mean? Community is, that's what we do.
Exactly. Shout out to boy there, joining in. Here you got shout out to J. Will McFadden in the building. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, my boy. Hey, Ohio State, yeah, my man.
Yeah. You got brother Trevor in the building. Boy. You know what I mean? And got brother Malik here. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go there.
Yeah. And shout out to, of course, the Suge Knight and your colleague called Tanya Turtle. You know what I mean? So had that nickname there for him, man. And shout out my guy Ron G in the building. Here, salute to you joining here on the live chat here with Greg Sharpshooter Outlaw. Hopefully you'll be out there. We'll be out there for April 26th, Bowie State University. You know what is going down, Beyond the Ropes Part 2, of course, with Greg Sharpshooter Outlaw. Here, that will be headlining the event against Windry Martinez there for the NABA welterweight title. You know what I mean?
WBA, NABA. Make sure you say that WBA.
Yeah, WBA, NABA welterweight title. Because I'm telling you, this is going to be really big here. He's going to go in there. He's going to take care of business and get himself moving up in the rankings with the WBA. And listen, if I got to, I'll call the WBA. I'll be like, hey, listen, you know how that things go sometimes. Got promoters that be trying to talk to these people within these boxing organizations, all that type of stuff. So hey, man, I'll probably make some phone calls and be like, hey, you need to put Greg Outlaw in them rankings so we can get up. You feel me?
We're saying the same thing for sure.
Yeah. Also, real quick, shout out to Split Team Management and Sarah. Who's also been a key part of your team. Talk about their role in your pro career.
So I signed with Split T going on 2 years, and me and Sarah, I know Sarah for a long time, and I was actually calling her to be an advisor, and then she was like, I got something better. I got a better deal for you, and send me the management deal. We talked everything, try to work some kinks out, and we made it happen. So, now we're here. Now we just climbing the ladder.
Yeah, for sure, man. You got your boy coming through here, Jasmine in the building. You know what I'm saying? Brother Morgan, said Bowie State alum. Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Said Team Outlaw in the building. You feel me? So of course, we got all that going down now. After this event here, and everything goes down, you get the job done on Saturday night. where do you see yourself going in the welterweight division?
To the top. You hear me? But now we've been real intentional. That's the one big thing that Tanya brought to the team is being intentional, and we're gonna keep reaching out. We're gonna defend our belt after we get it. God willing, at least try to do 2 more times this year. Hopefully one more time on another Sharpshooter Promotions and Outlaw Nation show. So, like I said, real intentional. We're trying to get some of them big fights, some of them big paydays. You hear me? And then just keep doing what we're doing. We're on the right track right now. We're on the right track.
Yeah, exactly. I was trying to see here if I could, look up something, here real quick because y'all was thinking, maybe it has something going down, close to, Bowie State football season. You know what I'm saying? So try to get that going. You feel me?
The show, homecoming.
Yeah, exactly. We try to make that happen, so that all that goes down and things like that. So definitely, looking forward to seeing more here with Sharpshooter Promotions. Of course, like you said, working with a lot of the fighters here within the area and get things done and whatnot too. Because like I said before, you've been able to be part of other shows, whether it's like No Excuse Promotions or other ones that happen here within the area, and also what's going on in Philadelphia. We had a few fights up there as well. But now, through Sharpshooter Promotions, you could say, hey, you know what? I got my own thing here going down. You know what I mean?
For sure. That's a beautiful thing. Shout out to No Excuse Promotions. But every fight I'm on from here on now is purposeful. Every fight moves me closer to that title shot. And once we get that shot, we just gotta take advantage, and we will for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is gonna be like Mayweather Promotions and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know if you be like Mayweather. And listen, my thing is this. I do my own thing. I'm for Mayweather, TBE, and I got my guy Greg Outlaw. He's doing his own thing. You know what I'm saying? With Sharpshooter Promotions, and he gonna go straight to the top. He gonna be like me, TBE. I mean, something like that. It's pretty much like that. You know what I mean? So, we definitely are looking forward to what's going down here. Of course, April 26th there at Bowie State University. Y'all be sure to, like I said, you got tickets available on his website through social media as well. You go on his social media page, of course, there's Sharpshooter Outlaw. They're on IG, of course, and he also has Facebook where you can get more information on how to get tickets. And also, if you're pretty much like outside the area and things like that, you're not able to make it, you'll be able to see it live or through BXNG TV. They'll be able to provide the show there for you as well, man. So that's what we got. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, I try with the Floyd. You know what I'm saying? I try with the Floyd. You know what I mean? That's what I got. Oh, shout out to my guy Big Dre in the building. Yeah, everybody hit the like button. It's free to hit the like button. You feel me? So you can go ahead and do that, man. So anything else out there, for the people to look forward to coming up on April 26th?
Great event, community full event, full of love, good music, good food, good vibes, a lot of great fights, and a fight dedicated to Colleen that you're gonna see in the new WBA, NABA welterweight champion of the world, Greg Sharpshooter Outlaw Jr. And in a hell of a fashion, we're gonna make it do what it do.
Exactly, man. So we looking forward to you going to getting your 18th win here and your 11th win by way of knockout here coming up on April 26th. A big shout out to you, of course, being part of this as always. You know what I'm saying? As we've definitely been following your career over the years and things like that. So definitely looking forward to this coming up here on April 26th and much more here, of course, through Sharpshooter Promotions.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, man. It's a beautiful thing. Appreciate it. Love the support. Appreciate the support. And only to the top we go.
Yeah, for sure. That's our guy here. Like I said, Greg Sharpshooter Outlaw here, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all be sure to catch him here April 26th. It's gonna be real big. And you see the shirts. Oh yeah, that's the other thing too, right? Like they need to figure out like how to get shirts and things like that, because I know that there's going to be a specific theme for this particular event, but also like what shirts could be available or other merchandise that could be available for this particular event.
So like you said, it's the brand Outlaw Nation. It's the movement. We got shirts getting made. It was a little delayed, but they will be available. If not, like during the week for you to purchase, at least at the fight. So come pull up at the fight with a tank top on. So then all you gotta do is put on the Outlaw, get you a shirt, and just put on the Outlaw Nation shirt, and then we all representing. We all want to cool. You know what I mean? So. Website stuff coming soon to purchase shirts and all that. You know how the production stuff get is just working out the kinks and anything like that. But shirts, similar to this, will be available for purchase April 26th at the venue for sure.
Gotcha, no doubt, no doubt. Of course, like you said, rocking the shirt. You feel me? So rocking the shirt. So yeah, definitely looking forward to what's coming up here on April 26th, and like I said, we're gonna get more information here, leading up to the event at Bowie State University. So y'all be sure to check out Greg Sharpshooter Outlaw here coming up on Saturday night, y'all.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I'll check out you later, man, for sure.
Peace and love.
Yeah, peace. So that's our guy there, Greg Sharpshooter Outlaw. Like I said, y'all be sure to catch him April 26th, Bowie State University. Of course, it's under Sharpshooter Promotions. Yes, that is his promotional company there that's going to be, going through this event that is there. And also, he's there with Ponytail Promotions as well. That's going to be part of the event April 26th at Bowie State University. So definitely looking forward to that there. Yeah, like I said, Bowie State University. You could go through teamoutlaw4life.com. Hold on a second, y'all, because I'm going to see here if I could get this thing propped up so y'all be able to figure out how you'll be able to get tickets here. So let me see here. All right, bet. So you go through that thing there on Team Outlaw for Life, you know what I mean? And you'll be able to see like right there where you could go ahead and get tickets and stuff like that, say purchase tickets below, you got the link and everything right there. So you'll be able to go through that teamoutlaw4life.com and be able to get tickets through that. So, just make sure you're able to do that there, leading into what's going on there for Saturday night. So that's definitely the thing there that we got coming up next Saturday. All right. So y'all be sure to go ahead and check that out, and definitely looking forward to that here on Saturday. Now, we got, of course, a number of things here that, we're going to be also talking about here on the Boston Source podcast. Yes, there was some action there yesterday. That we had something there with the Golden Boy card that happened there. We also had more fights on the zone that took place. There was also something here that happened earlier today there with Ben Whitaker. But, wanted to talk about, some other big topics that, happen over the course of the week, you know what I mean? Because we had this thing here as far as like Ring Magazine. They recently reported that they're going to have a upcoming fight card there that's scheduled for July 12th in New York City. Now, thing is, man, it's like, wait a minute. July 12th, New York City? Wait a minute. Isn't there supposed to be like a Netflix event on July 11th with, Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano? So they're going to have something there at Madison Square Garden July 11th. And now we could have something that could be out by Central Park on July 12th. Hey, listen, that's going to be crazy. That's going to be absolutely insane. Listen, even with the joint for July 11th, I thought it was like the hotel prices was crazy. It was absolutely ridiculous. Now you're going to tell me that there's going to be another boxing event that's going to be on the next day? Man, listen, I don't know, man. I might, if I go up there, I might have to end up staying in Jersey or something, or I don't know, man, over in Newark. I don't know. I don't know about Newark though. Hold on, y'all didn't hear that. But I don't know. I'll have to work out something if I was going to be up there around the New York City area during that weekend. You feel me? So you're going to have what's scheduled there is Shakur Stevenson defending his WBC lightweight title right? He's going to be in there, and they're finally, and when I say finally, I absolutely do mean finally, going to have him face the number one contender there. You know what I'm saying? In Williams Zepeda, because Williams Zepeda has pretty much been like the number one contender for like 5 years or something. You know what I mean? Looked like he's been like the number one contender for 5 years, and at the time, like didn't really go up to say that he would be ready to, fight for that WBC lightweight title. Now he's ready to step up there and fight for that title there against Shakur Stevenson. Yes, he's had those two fights against Tevin Farmer. To this day, I say in that first fight, he lost that fight against Tevin Farmer. You know what I mean? But the second fight, he did a little bit better on that and ended up getting a more clear, definitive decision win over Tevin Farmer. But, like I said, I mean, here at this particular juncture, like seeing what he was doing here in those two fights, I don't know. I don't know how he's gonna really fare here against Shakur Stevenson. I know Shakur Stevenson, had that whole thing there where he fought Josh Padley on February 22nd. He was supposed to fight Floyd Schofield Jr. on February 22nd, but we all kind of know what happened with all of that. And now here he is being in this position to fight, I guess, in Central Park. At least that's what it's planned. It better not have no invite only type thing with this Central Park stuff either, like how they have what's going on May 2nd, right? Because we like boxing fans really wouldn't be all cool with that. You feel me? So especially with it being in that large area of Central Park, like I don't even know how they're gonna sort that out. You know what I mean? So that was looking like the main or the headlining event there is for Shakur Stevenson to defend the title there against Williams Zepeda, right? Supposed to be like more behind this, see if I could, go into what they had planned here, because we could also see if you have David Morrell Jr. Be on this card as well, right? So, hey, I'm like saying this could be a real good card. You know what I mean? I didn't really want to like kind of go into a little bit more in this thing, but hey, that's the thing about it is like we'll see like more information about that fight card here in just a little bit. You know what I mean? So you got like Edgar Berlanga going up against Hamza Shiraz. You got Alberto Puello defending the WBC super lightweight title against Subriel Matias, and it would be David Morrell Jr. There, going up against Imam Katayev. So that's what's planned there, and this says there through Mike Coppinger of Ring Magazine is what they have initially planned here for July 12th in New York City. So it's pretty, like I said, it's a okay card. Now the thing with Berlanga, I don't know about all that, man. Like unless they say Berlanga probably got like some good amount of money, for that fight to take place. Hey, but here against Shiraz, hey, I don't know, man. That could be something where I couldn't necessarily say that's a toss up. I couldn't say it's a toss up. You know what I mean? Y'all know about Shiraz, had his fight there for the WBC belt there at that weight class, and ended up being a draw, where some people thought that, he made a loss, but it is what it is, with that one. But now he's, back in it or back in the mix as far as like getting in the ring and be going up against Edgar Berlanga. And hey, that's going to be there in it says like a world title eliminator at 168. That's going to be interesting there. And like I was saying with the WBC 140-pound title there, Alberto Puello going up against Subriel Matias. I feel like that's interesting there because Subriel Matias, his last bout, he won an IBF eliminator that was supposed to have him be the IBF mandatory eventually, but you're going to have the IBF champion in uh, that'll go up against George Kambosos, right? Like, what are we doing here, right? Why is Richard Hitchens going up against George Kambosos? George Kambosos shouldn't be anywhere near fighting for a world title at 140 pounds, no less. I'm sorry, shouldn't be doing that. You know what I mean? He gets one win at 140 against somebody. Come on, we don't even know. I mean, yeah, it was a replacement opponent for who he originally scheduled, and even with the fighter that they originally scheduled, that shouldn't constitute having him in position to fighting for a world title in a second fight at 140 pounds. But yet, Subriel Matias, who is there as a former world champion, a former IBF world champion, that Richardson Hitchens was at one point the number one contender for. Eventually, Subriel Matias loses the title, and once Matias lost that title, the first title defense for that guy was against Richardson Hitchens. Come on, man. Like, come on. So that should tell y'all something. It's like, I know that, in some cases we don't necessarily have the term ducking in boxing, but why is it that Hitchens couldn't go ahead and face Subriel Matias when Subriel Matias was the IBF champion, but ended up facing Liam Paro after Liam Paro defeated Subriel Matias for that IBF belt? And then now, flip the script. Subriel Matias is the top-rated contender for the IBF title, but Richardson Hitchens is fighting George Kambosos. Makes no sense. But as an alternative, you're going to have Subriel Matias going up against the WBC champion there in Alberto Puello. And hey, that one's going to be a really good fight. You're going to have Subriel Matias there, of course, a come forward offensive fighter against Alberto Puello, guy that uses height, reach, a little bit of defense here and there. So it makes for a good style matchup, so I'm looking forward to that. They're on July 12th. They're scheduled for July 12th. And for David Morrell Jr. going up against Imam Katayev, of course, it'll be Morrell's first fight since his loss to David Benavidez on February 1st in Las Vegas, right? Going up against Imam Katayev, who is currently ranked, at number 7 in the WBC, number 6 in the IBF. Yep, and that's pretty much it as far as like him in the sanctioning body rankings. So that'll make it a good overall matchup there within the light heavyweight division. I'm gonna see if I could find out more there with David Morrell Jr. It's good that he's getting right back in the mix. Just about it ain't even more than 6 months. That he'll be right back in the ring. So that's good there that you have that. So definitely for those being the 4 fights coming up, that's a good little look there for that particular fight card. So I say, hey, that's not bad at all. Like, to be honest with you, I ain't really that much interested in what's coming up on May 2nd. Just being honest with y'all. But this one right here, yeah, I'd be all cool with it. Definitely be cool with it. You know what I mean? All right, so that is what we could look forward to there on July 12th for New York City. May end up being in Central Park or whatever it is. If they do something like that, like I said, it'll be really interesting. Like I said, July 11th, Madison Square Garden. You're gonna have that all-female fight card there, headlined by the third bout between Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano there. So you're going to have that July 11th, and then this will be July 12th. Makes for a good boxing weekend there in New York City, right? And also, like I said, coming up here on Saturday. You got the full card there for Sharpshooter Promotions alongside Ponytail Promotions, as Greg Outlaw will be facing Wendy Martinez for the WBA NABA welterweight title. As we mentioned there with our guest that was just on here, Greg Sharpshooter Outlaw. You're going to have Tyrell Boyd against Ashton Sykes, Stephon Hobbs against Kevin Johnson. You got Rashad Kilpatrick against Jean-Baptiste Gabriel. And you're going to have Jakeem Hutchinson also on this particular fight card. Hey, if you haven't done so already, you can actually check out an interview with Jakeem Hutchinson that I had here, a couple of weeks ago as well. So definitely a good fight card there, right? And then also, what we're going to have over in the UK, right? Yep, that's right. You're going to have finally Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. There, you're going to also have Liam Smith against Aaron McKenna. I'm not going to call Liam Smith his nickname. Ain't no way I'm doing that. Come on, you can't listen. You can't call a dude that name. Come on, we ain't doing that here. I'm sorry, we ain't doing that here. All right, it's just Liam Smith. Hey, over in the UK, if y'all want to call him that, that's cool. But here, nah, we ain't doing that. All right. You're also gonna have Anthony Yard against Lyndon Arthur here. That of course is the third rendition of this fight. As you had the first fight, Lyndon Arthur got a split decision win. Then in the second bout, 2021, you had, of course, Anthony Yard there winning by KO, and now this is the third rendition here between these two fighters. So that's going to be make sure another good bout between those two fighters here. So, hey, it's 1-1. You got to be able to break the tie here with this one. So, looking forward to that fight as well. You're going to also have former world champion Chris Billum Smith, aka John Cena, going up against Brandon Gladden there. So that's going to be also another good one as well. We're looking forward to this whole card here, like I said, at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. There that is supposed to be on the Zone pay-per-view or something like that there. So that's another big card here to go ahead and look forward to on Saturday. That's going to be earlier in the day there. There, of course, with it being in the UK. So you'll be able to catch that. And after that, you'll be able to see the Sharpshooter Promotions card there. Like I said, it's going to be at Bowie State University there. Once again, that's at bxngtv.com, right? So hold up. You also got that. Like I said, see if I get the link on this thing, right? For those that are watching here on YouTube. So you got the thing there for bxngtv.com, right? You'll be able to also watch the show there. Of course, BXNG, the next generation there, like I said, is Sharpshooter Promotions. They're not thing there where it says Outlaw Nation, but you're gonna have Sharpshooter Promotions there, of course. That's going to have this fight card that'll be on BXNG TV. So y'all be able to see that if you're not able to make it to Bowie State University. You know what I mean? So go ahead and check that out as well there for April 26th. So we got a lot of action that's coming up here, as far as like boxing, April 26th. And of course, there the following week, you're going to have fight card on May 2nd, May 3rd, and May 4th. I think there. So that's the thing there, man. So what I got something here on the message there. I don't know if my guy is still on here, but yes, I will be out there next weekend at Bowie State University. You feel me? So you're gonna see me out there, for that particular fight card there. So look forward to seeing me out there for that, right? And I talked about, like I said, with all the action that's coming up May 2nd. Of course, there you're gonna have Devin Haney that's going up there against Ramirez. You're gonna have Ryan Garcia going up against Rolly Romero, right? Um, you're gonna have, of course, Teofimo Lopez there. That's gonna be defending his Ring Magazine, yeah, Ring Magazine, and WBO super lightweight titles there against Arnold Barbosa Jr. There. So that's the 3 fight card there. And then, of course, you're gonna have Canelo Alvarez going to, as they say, uh, try to win the undisputed super middleweight title again. There when he goes up against William Skull, who is the IBF super middleweight champion, because Canelo ended up vacating the belt and William Skull won the vacant belt. So then the next fight, he's able to fight Canelo Alvarez for undisputed. And that's how that whole thing works. You know what I mean? So you got that, and then also you're gonna have Jaime Munguia versus Bruno Sarachi, the rematch there on that. And some of y'all that have been following this thing here, man, know that the knockout of the year, pretty much like the upset of the year, was Bruno Sarachi. Giving Jaime Munguia that 2-piece in the biscuit. Okay, and once that happened, it was a wrap for Jaime Munguia. Listen, they're having this rematch. Sarachi, if he ends up knocking out Jaime Munguia again, that's it. It's a wrap for Munguia. It's a wrap. It's over. It's absolutely over for Jaime Munguia if he ends up losing to Sarachi here in the rematch, right? And also, you're gonna have Martin McCauley versus Efir Jagba. They're in the heavyweight division. Of course, McCauley and Jagba was, they had that scheduled for the fight, but then McCauley ended up stepping up there for Daniel Dubois in the bout against Joseph Parker on February 22nd, and ended up getting, knocked out, stopped, or whatever it is within 2 rounds. But they still kept this bout here between Martin McCauley and Efir Jagba on for May 3rd. So those are like 3 major bouts there on that fight card. You're gonna have Badu Jack having that cruiserweight title bout against Michaelian. Don't even ask me how to pronounce that first name. I ain't even gonna try it. Okay, I ain't even gonna try that. But that's what they got there coming up for May 3rd, right? And then on May 4th, you're going to have your top ranked card, as Naoya Inoue will be defending his undisputed super bantamweight titles against Ramon Cardenas. And then also you're going to have Rafael Espinoza defending his WBO title at featherweight against Edward Vasquez there. And here at the Boxing Source, we're going to see if we can work on getting Edward Vasquez on here once again. Could have had him on for last week, but he had like a little bit of a scheduling conflict there, so we weren't able to lock it down for last week. But hopefully, we could try to have Edward Vasquez on here for this week and see if we could chop it up with him as he prepares for that bout there against Rafael Espinoza. There's, like I said, it's a big bout for him for the WBO featherweight title. So definitely looking forward to that. We're able to lock that down. So that just tells you how much action that we have here coming up within the next couple of weeks, right? I mean, it's, hey, like I was saying in earlier a podcast, there's going to be events back to back to back. There's going to be, fight cards back to back to back, weekend after weekend after weekend after weekend here through June. I would say at the very least through June. So y'all be able to, look forward to all of that, right? And once we, get more information about the schedule that happens here, you're going to be able to, check that out here on the Boxing Source, right? You'll also, if you can, through the YouTube channel, we have, highlights from the press conference that was at Norfolk, Virginia on Friday, as you had DB3, of course, the Davis brothers there. They're going to be fighting on June 7th at the Scope Arena, right? Of course, with Keyshawn Davis defending his WBO lightweight title against Edwin De Los Santos there. So you can check that out here on the YouTube channel and also interviews with all three of the Davis brothers. Yes, that are here through the Boxing Source as well. So, like I said, a lot of boxing action that's coming up here. As we going through spring into the summer, we're gonna have a lot of events there on this. But also want to get back to what happened yesterday, particularly on the Golden Boy Promotions card. Not necessarily there on the main event because a number of people expected what actually happened there on the main event, but we want to go into the co-feature bout. Okay, we had the co-feature bout between Charles Conwell and Jorge Garcia Perez. They're in the super welterweight division. Charles Conwell going into the bout undefeated at 21-0. Jorge Garcia Perez in there with a record of 32 wins and 4 losses. And, it was something there where it was, okay, Charles Conwell, has been a, top contender there within the 154-pound division. He had basically been as high as number 2 in the WBO. Okay. And also, he had been floating around in other boxing organization rankings as well, but particularly with him being there at number 2 in the WBO, he would have been really close to contending for the WBO title there at 154 pounds, right? But you have here Jorge Perez, who was ranked at number 3 in the WBO, right? Ranked at number 11 in the IBF, number 12 in the WBC. So he had been out also there, pretty much up there in the rankings there at 154 pounds. So this one was it actually, for me, I felt like this bout could have been for the WBO interim title, but a person that currently holds the WBO interim title hasn't relinquished that particular title and probably won't until September. But that's, a whole nother story. And a lot of y'all know who I'm talking about. But with that being said, yeah, this thing here with Jorge Garcia Perez and Charles Conwell, and I felt like it was something where Conwell being there with Golden Boy, I thought that they would try to put him in position to potentially fight the WBC interim champion in Virgil Ortiz Jr. But Virgil Ortiz had fought on February 22nd. And as we know, he suffered an injury that, puts him on the sideline here for some time now. So even regardless of what was going to happen here in this matchup, you weren't going to necessarily see Virgil Ortiz back in the ring for some time here, at least probably by the end of 2025. But on the flip side, though, like I said, the winner of this would be in a great position to fight for the WBO super welterweight title, because you're going to have Fedor versus Anders Zayas coming up here later in the summer. So the winner of this would be next in line for that belt. And with Conwell, it was more about, okay, how many bouts would he have while under Golden Boy that would kind of put him in position to try to go for one of those major major guys there at 154. This was what I would say his third bout or something like that. I think it would be his third bout there while under Golden Boy, because I think his first one was on August 10th. Yeah, that was actually on the undercard of Virgil Ortiz versus Jorge Boachuk, right? So, okay, you're getting this guy. He signs with y'all. What is the long-term plan for Charles Conwell? Are you going to put him in position for a world title? Are you going to have him going up against Virgil Ortiz eventually? Or is he just going to be there to be there? But here in this bout, like I said, against Jorge Garcia Perez, I don't know if it was something where it was style issue or whatnot. Because, in those first few rounds, I saw there with Conwell, he was doing pretty good as far as like his defense is concerned, switching things up as far as like being able to do good head movement and having a good guard, slipping the punches. But, here with him being at 5'9" and his opponent there, Jorge Garcia Perez at 6 feet, he had to do some work in order to get to the inside. And in the middle rounds to the late rounds, you've seen Jorge Garcia Perez be more active there, particularly on the inside, where you would have thought that Charles Conwell would have been the more active person on the inside. But no, it was Jorge Garcia Perez throwing more punches, getting in there. And also, while he's, having the range, he's able to throw punches there while, at the long range. And so at the tail end of the fight, some people probably would have thought that Jorge Garcia Perez probably got the better of Charles Conwell. And the scorecards were, very close, 7 rounds to 5, on both sides. 2 judges had it in favor of Jorge Garcia Perez, and 1 judge had it in favor of Charles Conwell. And the thing about it is, like, you had it at a point where a number of fight fans that were there in attendance were, leaning towards Jorge Garcia Perez too. And, him getting that win, puts him in a great position there within the 154-pound division. And, some people were like mentioning, hey, maybe they could go ahead and have a rematch between these two since it was that close. I don't see that happening. I think you're going to have Jorge Garcia Perez probably put on the shelf, or they're kind of like on the bench a little bit until there's a good fight that's available for Jorge Garcia Perez. And for Charles Conwell, well, hey, I don't know the actual details of his deal that he had with Golden Boy, but like I said, that's his 3rd fight while under Golden Boy. And usually, at least for me, I've seen like some deals where it's either like 3 fights and then see what happens afterwards, or 4 or 5 fights. So if this is his 3rd fight under Golden Boy Promotions, hey, it is what it is. And, some people, just being real, some people really ain't too cool with Golden Boy Promotions when they have some fighters that are under their promotional banner. So here with Conwell, they can't do much with them. As far as like tickets are concerned, they can't like really move them as far as having them headline an event or whatever it is. So pretty much they kind of like have them built as an opponent for a Virgil Ortiz. That's what it looked like to me, at least when they ended up signing them, that they would have him as an opponent for Virgil Ortiz Jr. later on down the line. But given the circumstances here with Virgil Ortiz, and also given the circumstances with Charles Conwell and what he had been doing in the past couple of fights, maybe they say, hey, you know what, we might not be able to do much with them or whatever. Let's see how he does here against Jorge Garcia Perez. Like I said, Perez was able to built his record up. Had a couple of good wins against like Rourke Knapp and Kojiro Abdulkakarov. But outside of that, if Conwell can't get through this, I don't know what we're gonna end up doing with him afterwards. Really don't. So with that being said, this kind of like has him pretty much in the back burner. Even though it's just 1 loss, now it's like, okay, what are we gonna do with him? That's gonna be really key. If there's like, maybe a way or two that I could get in contact with some people within Golden Boy and say, what do they think of Conwell's performance and what does this mean for him later on down the line? Hey, that could be something. But like I said, I really don't see that they have much more after at least this particular performance, to say the least. And if they can't, have him in some good matchups outside of Virgil Ortiz, then what else is there out there for him? So that's what I mean. That's what I mainly had as far as like that particular bout. Of course, the main event there you had Gabriela Fundora versus Marilyn Badillo, and Fundora made Badillo pretty much tap out. She pretty much was, like I said, she was just using the range. There, of course, being a southpaw and tagging Badillo. Badillo is like much shorter, so she had to do a lot of work to try to get within range there to even land any type of punches on Gabriela Fundora, and really couldn't do it. And so by the time it got to like round 6, it got bad for Marilyn Badillo. And then round 7, she ended up taking a knee. And then after she took a knee, she got up. She looked at the ref. The ref was like, "Are you ready to continue?" She was like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm good." So Gabriela Fundora goes 16-0. There as the undisputed flyweight champion. Man, I don't think that there's really much, competition out there for Gabriela Fundora there in the flyweight division. She might have to move up to super flyweight to actually try to get something or some type of competition. Maybe try a super flyweight there. I don't even know if Esparza, hey, that could be something there, but we got to see what happens with Esparza, because she may end up having a rematch with Yokasa Valle later this year. So you can have that happen, and then maybe we have Gabriela Fundora moving up to super flyweight and then fighting the winner of that if Esparza and Valle have a rematch. They're coming up later this year. But as far as like the flyweight division overall for Gabby, I don't see any real challenges out there for it. Just being real on that. Right? So that was the main event. You also had Tristan Kalkrug there going up against Felix Valera in the, they say it's like around the cruiserweight division, but Kalkrug was, well over, 200 pounds there. And then in this one, and so was Felix Valera. But this one, you had Kalkrug there with a unanimous decision win. And the story there with this one was two of the scores had it 9-1 in favor of Tristan Kalkrug over Felix Valera. And if y'all seen the fight, I'm just being real. Ain't no way that Tristan Kalkrug won 9 rounds. Nowhere near. I thought it would have been real close, like a 96-94 or something like that. Some people probably would have said it would be like 95-95, but 99-91 on 2 scorecards? Nah. Of course, there also with Kalkrug, his main trainer is Brian Bomac McIntyre, but Bomac couldn't be there, due to, attending a funeral. So you had Coach Ronnie Shields in the corner there of Tristan Kalkrug. Then, there was a number of things there that Coach Ronnie was telling Tristan, and it just wasn't quite registering there. You know what I'm saying? So you had it there with Felix Valera. He was like gaining confidence round after round after round, and you saw sometimes there where Kalkrug was getting tagged up a little bit, but I think it's more about the weight that Kalkrug had going into this bout, that was something for him to carry that weight. He was landing some good shots there on Valera, but wasn't really affecting Valera that much. You know what I mean? So that kind of made things real troubling there for Tristan Kalkrug. But we got to see like how he responds after this. If he pretty much like gets more comfortable there within the cruiserweight division. And say shout out to Adam there on the live chat here through YouTube. Thanks for listening here live on the Boxing Source podcast for April 20th, 2025. Right. So like about over an hour in there, that was mainly what we had for that particular fight card. I know we had like more action there. Ben Whitaker, won his matchup here that was earlier today. There where he ended up stopping Liam Cameron. Yeah, that wasn't much of a bout. Remember, the first bout ended up being a over the top rope battle royal. You know what I mean? It was Ben Whitaker ended up carrying Liam Cameron over the top rope with him. So it ended up being like pretty much like a technical draw there, but they were thinking that Liam Cameron was getting to Ben Whitaker there in that first fight, but then here in this second fight, yeah, it was nothing. All right. You also have Frazier Clark on this thing here. That didn't have much issues there with Ebenezer Tete. Now this one, of course, with Frazier Clark, they had that crazy knockout loss to Fabio Wardley last year. So this was his first fight back since then. Easy work. It was easy work for him. You know what I mean? You also had Sam Eggington. I don't know, man. Sam Eggington still fighting, but he ended up winning, and he got a WBC International Super Welterweight title. So we might see Sam Eggington on the WBC rankings next month. Oh goodness. Oh man, that's crazy, y'all. That is crazy. You know what I mean? And also I wanted to see like we had something here with Josh Warrington against Assad Khan there, who Josh Warrington ended up winning there on that bout, so we might be seeing more from Josh Warrington. That is his first win since what, like freaking 2022, where he stopped Kiko Martinez, right? So man, he lost to Luis Alberto Lopez, to Lee Wood, and Anthony Cassasi. So he definitely needed that win. I missed the joint there with the Cassasi fight because I wasn't able to get to Wembley until like fairly late in that fight card, so I wasn't able to see that. You feel me? What's up, man? I gotta figure out who that is, man. I don't know who the Caribbean Sherelle. Shout out to Sherelle in the building. So what we got here, Adam says, think Ryan's gonna beat up Devin again. Style issue. I think it's a style issue, man. Thing with Dev, right? Dev is. I'm just being real, y'all. Dev is good in a lot of things, but I don't know if he's great at one thing. Maybe utilizing the jab, but only against fighters that he might have either a height advantage or a reach advantage against, right? Ryan Garcia, he's there as a fighter that's taller, faster. So he poses like multiple issues there for Devin Haney. Even with the thing as far as like what Devin Haney was able to do in the middle rounds there in their fight last year, he still had like issues as far as like once Ryan Garcia was within range. So they end up fighting again after what happens here on May 2nd. Devin may have another issue as far as like the speed. I don't know if he could deal with the speed of Ryan Garcia. I think the thing with Ryan Garcia at the time was he was confident that Devin Haney couldn't really hurt him. And so with that, he just went ahead and said, you know what? I'm going to walk through a few of these punches in order to land a couple of my own, and given my speed and giving a little bit of power behind him, that's going to give Devin Haney issues. And that's why you had those multiple knockdowns in that fight last year. We know about the whole backstory and what Ryan Garcia was doing as far as like his level of professionalism leading into the bout, actually in the bout, and all that type of stuff. But if they end up fighting again later this year, we got to see what Devin Haney does as far as like making the proper adjustments to get the better of Ryan Garcia if they fight again. But at least as of right now, I just don't see the path of where Devin Haney could really do that. That's just being me on that. You feel me? So that's what I got as far as like that upcoming bout. But I pretty much like went through a number of the fights that went down this past weekend. Like I say, look forward to what's coming up here April 26th. Shout out to Greg Sharpshooter Outlaw for being on here at the beginning of this podcast. If you missed it, you could hit the rewind button here if you missed it live, or you could wait for the audio version that'll be available here later on down the line. So that's mainly what I got here for this edition of the Boxing Source podcast. We're gonna see if we could have a midweek report here scheduled for Wednesday to talk a little bit more about what's coming up here for April 26th and other news and notes that may come up over the next couple of days. We may have something scheduled for either Monday or Tuesday with Coach Bob Santos here, so we might have something there with that. And you know what? I was gonna say something about a rumor, but I'm gonna lay off of that. I'm gonna lay off of that for now. All I'm gonna say is, yeah, this is a plug, but all I'm gonna say is go on to boxingsource.net and look for articles on the rumor mill or titled The Rumor Mill. And there's going to be one in particular that's going to be out there from last year. All I'm going to say is something may be resurrected in reference to one of those rumors. That's all I'm going to say on that. Now, all I have is to say, you know what? Thanks, everyone, for listening to the Boxing Source podcast here for April 20th, 2025. I'll catch y'all later. Peace out.